Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Spin Rack. I'm here with the boys once again, PD and Cal. Say what's up, guys.
What
Ready to
up?
rock.
Hey, so I'm talking about this Screen Rant article, and this something's going on other than the Screen Rant. But we're just pointing this out. The WB is reportedly wants to revitalize Superman's DCEU future, and that's because Warner Brothers has been taken over by Discovery, and now they're trying to reevaluate some of the things that they're currently doing. One of the things they want to do is get a Supremo like a Jeff, what do you call that?
Kevin
Like
Feige.
Kevin Feige, and of course they're leading to like people like Bendis and Snyder, and also
Oh, hell no.
another. Excuse me, can I just finish the intro? Okay, so they're leading to
It's
something like
Bendis and Snyder. This
Snyder,
Lord.
and we also have someone he's also looking into revitalizing Superman. Bringing of course the man with the S, himself. Because they're leaving money on the table. That's two of the big changes they're thinking about. So here, we're going to delve into this a little bit more. We're going to talk with our resident Superman expert, Calvin Ellis, and our resident Bendis Snyder expert, PD. So hey, gents, what do you think about these developments coming
What
up?
kind of what kind of bad parent trying to come up with a name for me was that? I do not go by the Snyder or Bendis anything.
Okay, then I'll take that from you then. Well, boop. So, proponent of the Bendis Snyder.
I don't just stop. Cal, please say what you need to say. Lord.
Oh man. Okay. How can I put this? Yes, you should look to get Superman up and running so you have a viable franchise since all this stuff started with him anyway. I'm not talking about the comics, I'm talking about the films back in 1978. He's already proven that he can do this if you actually get the right people behind him. The Kevin Feige thing? No. Okay. That worked for Marvel for a whole bunch of different reasons. And it's also that Kevin Feige was somebody who was he was working with other people who were also working at that foundational state before he gets to be this big guy. You don't have anything like that right now at Warner Brothers. So you need to get your foundation together. And then maybe a Kevin Feige comes out of that. But they already tried to do that with like Jeff Johns and it didn't work. So I don't see why they're gonna. They're not gonna put it in the hands of Bendis or Scott Snyder because those guys aren't movie people. They're not gonna give them that type of credit and that type of freedom to go and do stuff. But in terms of getting Superman up to speed, yes. I mean, this dude, even when people don't like the movie, he's good for like $600-700 million. What happens if you actually make a good one? Do you ever think about that? Then you could actually have 3-4 films and you don't have to lean all on one guy who's the easiest guy to tell the stories about. They have yet to do a successful sequel with any film, with the exception of Superman and Batman. Okay, not Wonder Woman, not Suicide Squad. No, they have yet to do anything. So you really do want to focus on the guys that should be bringing home the bank, if only for the name recognition. It just doesn't make any sense that you got the most recognized image, which is that Superman symbol next to the Christian cross, and you can't sell this dude. It just doesn't make any sense. So yes, kudos to Discovery for realizing, hey, we got this dude over here. We should be bringing a lot more money for him. Let's look at him and get this off the ground and make it happen, make it work.
Well, I would say like this. I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial.
And
Right?
don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm going to say is Discovery is saying, what do you do to make a decent Superman movie? And they're saying, you know what? Don't do what, you don't have to do what Bryan Singer did because he was like, let's not mess with the wheel, even though he still messed with the wheel at the same time. He did say, hey, let's do what the Richard Donner type of thing. And there was some good possible things of that. But if you think about it, at the same time, people like punching. So the only thing you can extract that worked with the Man of Steel movie is that he did punch a whole lot. So you try to take the the first Superman movie and you try to get some punching and then put some sort of story around it. But I do want to say, to go along with what Cal was saying, is that when you look at the Marvel universe and you have Kevin Feige in the background on a lot of stuff, because not just he's back there when the X-Men is out there, like as someone like a producer, and then he's not really directing it, but he's there because there's a lot of other people. When people like the X-Men, that was Singer and I think it was initially was Christopher McQuarrie, and then you had Spider-Man, which was Sam Raimi. But you get that sort of thing happening. Then when you get to mean, you can't go to the Fantastic Four, but when you get to Iron Man, you had John Favreau kind of really being the director of it, and you have Feige there too. And then when you get to the Avengers, you got Josh Whedon. He really gives the dynamic of having these sort of a group and adding stuff to it to really say this is kind of how you shoot superheroes. You kind of dolly around them, you get some of the cool poses out of there, so you don't try to have them running, because most of the time you want to see, like in the Watchmen, you have them running, and they really kind of do that. So that idea of doing something where you don't just try to say, we need one guy, we need Jeff Johns to be the guy to lead us through there, because they'll probably be like, well, didn't we just cancel his show? He's not big enough to do this now. So they'll probably be, we need someone else to do that. And they'll just find someone that wake up, Tim Burton, you're the guy. And that's how it can always go left. So basically you can have someone that kind of is able to help and be around this stuff. But directors are going to want to be able to do what they want to do. But you need the right guy for the Superman thing. And if you want to go off the beaten path, away from the first, the original Superman from Superman the movie, or you want to pull some stuff from the earlier stuff, really what was, you think about it, was revolutionary when it came out. We're just like, whoa, like this was a big deal when they first did the first Superman movie. So it's like kind of try to be groundbreaking, but in present day, we're looking at stuff that's around there. But you have to remember that people want to see a punch in there from time to time. Not the punches where you punch someone and it destroys half the city type of punches, but just one of the regular comic type of fights that you see in the Avengers, where someone gets hit into the wall, the whole building doesn't fall down, they just get hit into a wall and nothing happens. So I think, I think it's a good thing that they're trying to do it, but don't try to, put all the egg, don't try to go, hey, give it to James Gunn. James Gunn, we're enjoying you. Well, let's let you have Superman. They're like, no, this is a guy who kind of.
Wait. Who's talking about James Gunn? I just gave you two of the major options out there. The two.
I'm saying, who are they working with?
Snyder and Bendis. Okay, so hold your horses, bro. All right, those are the only options you have available.
Why do you keep throwing in Bendis?
Why not Bendis? He's had some of the top successful story ideas.
He's a guy that's sitting in the room. He hasn't done any TV on his own yet.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is that these guys are, what I'm getting from Feige is that Feige is somebody who worked his way up, but he also understands how to delegate. And he also understands what aspects need to happen in these films. I'm going to put this person here. I'm going to check in on them. What's going on? Okay, this needs to happen. Oh, but that's not my vision. That's great. This still needs to happen. Okay? And if it doesn't happen, we're not necessarily going to have the type of film. We've seen what happens. I mean, Feige, himself is not infallible. He decided to let the director have carte blanche when it came to the Eternals, and we got the Eternals. And I'm certain if he had stepped in and been like, well, wait a second, no, we got to get these things over here going, because this is some stuff that the audience is going to plug into. That type of savvy, well, look, I'm going to give you some room. I'm going to give you enough room to get this done, because I don't hear the same complaints about the Marvel films that I heard early on, which is that they were very taxing. It was a lot of work because they had to comply with a lot of stuff. That's the reason why Kenneth Branagh never came back to Thor. And if he did, we would have gotten a Thor closer to Walt Simonson's Thor at the end of the day, especially coming from Kenneth Branagh.
I don't know, that first one was pretty pan, The Dark World, right? So
no, that's the second one.
Oh, the second one.
I don't know why people try to say that the first one was the second one.
No, the first one was in Kenneth Branagh. I mean, Kenneth Branagh was looking at this like it was Shakespeare. You could see that from the first one, and you're like, okay, I don't know but he would have gone with it. But he was one of the people. Josh Whedon himself said, look, the process of working these Marvel films is grueling. He was just like, I got to get out. It's just too much. It's too much. And Kenneth Branagh did the one film. Josh Whedon did the two, but he also had to make certain that there was continuity that was going on. But with Feige, it seems that he's like, look, I'm going to give people more freedom to get this stuff done, but I'm also going to check in and make certain that particular things happen that need to happen. Now with DC, they decided, okay, we're going to leave everything in the hands of Zack Snyder, because they're just looking at this, just make the movies. Yeah. They're not looking at this like, hey, we need to make a foundation. We need to, this stuff has to be interconnected. We need a story. They're like, no, just get this going as quickly as possible. Just make the movies at the end of the day. And that did not work. You bring in Bendis, you bring in Snyder. These are not these are not filmmakers. Okay, they're not Hollywood people. These are guys who are used to working with comics, regardless of how many of their creations may have make the jump to the films. That's where these guys are. So you need somebody who understands how movies are made. Okay, and you also need somebody who understands comics, and Feige does understand comics as well, and is able to make a pretty good marriage.
But then that brings it down to, if you take out Bendis for that, Jeff Johns has done many shows and he's been involved in the whole Justice League. But then you also have Snyder, so who's been successful, has brought in close to $4 billion worth of the movies that he's worked on. So
years ago, you would have got my back up for that, because it would have been like, all right, everything I just said went out the window. But I know what you do. You're just trying to, get some. You want to get some more length out of this one. Okay, we can get some more length out of this one. You made $4 billion. That's great. That means you're going to keep making movies for Warner Brothers. They don't have any problem with that, because you're still a good money maker for them. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. You went off to Netflix and now you're doing zombie picks over there. So it doesn't matter with them. Okay, they took his money. He went over there. He went over there, and the last thing that they did with him was what? That Snyder cut, where they were like, "All right, great, we can get some money out of this," and they were still like, "Man, this dude is just a headache. These guys won't go away. We got to get away from him." You had a new person in charge, and he was only able to get one of his films out of the pipeline, and that was Aquaman. Okay, so no Snyder. Snyder had his shot. It's done. They say thank you for the good times. Thank you even more for the money, but we're moving on. So it's not going to be Snyder.
Well, I think about it like this. You see in this article, it's already going left, because they already say Superman is a reason the DC EU can't beat Marvel. And it's just
talking about your bunch
that's just what is it? It's a Screen Rant article, right? So that's just
yeah.
Clickbait.
And it's just like, at the same time, I think if you, because there's things that people, which I would, it's insane to me that people like about Man of Steel. But if you think about the punching, and that sort of resonated with people, that's the thing is, when you look at it, like, what was it? Even the testament to Feige's power, it was that on Civil War, Ike and the Marvel guys are like, in the office are like, you should do it more like this. And the Russos are like, we got this idea. And then what's the name dug his heels to back the Russos. And then they had to hash it out. And they said, well, let's let them do it their way. And then, of course, with the success of Civil War and following that to the next movies, giving the Russos the Avengers, they are like, oh, this is where we go. And we're sticking with this guy. And that's when Feige crushed everybody. Crushed the whole thing. But it's it is how Cal said, you just have to, they're doing stuff where they're doing movies, they're trying to have some sort of identity with the James Gunn doing the what's that guy, he want to say Manhunter, but the Peacemaker.
That was a fun series, and I liked it. So
come on, you kidding?
I haven't seen Peacemaker yet, but the one thing I'll say about it, from what I've heard, is that it was much better received than I expected it to be, because I thought that was just going to be a throwaway piece of nonsense. But for whatever reason, it resonated with people. I still have yet to see it, but it was definitely surprising. And it was surprising to me in terms of how much people enjoyed it.
I want to find out if he's used that the cow was possibly based on some and those characters were based on what in DC. It looks like it was in something in one of those Superman strips, but I don't know what it exactly was. So I really like to figure out what he was basing that cow on. But anyway, it's a little too wonky. But I think since he's the only guy that's really there backing him no matter what, the same way they're backing Ezra Miller. So it's like they basically can go anywhere. But yeah, just find some talent that want to do this thing. In my mind, not looking at the people who are already in play, thinking trying to get someone like a Harv Burnett who looked at Star Trek and spend some time watching those series and immediately picked out something that you could make into a movie, which you'd use the Space Seed as the basis for the Wrath of Khan. And that's basically looking at the thing, finding the dynamic, and exploring that dynamic within the movie. And that's what you need to kind of do with Superman. You just need to put on a notepad people like punching, and that the original Superman movie is still one of the best superhero movies ever. No matter how many times people try to put any other movie above it, it's still like it's still the top. So you just have those two notes on the board to say, hey, this is what people like punching, and this is still the top. Try to get somewhere in between there.
I mean, it's. I don't think it should be that hard to. Superman 78 is not the apex for a Superman film. It's the last time that somebody looked at the Superman film and said, "Hey, let's make a good movie." Everybody's approach to it has been after Donner has been really trying to okay, let's go. We went too far with the humor, or we're going to store, but we're not going to give you any budget, or we're going to try to stay with what Donner did, and not realize, hey, that was the foundation. You guys can go off from that. Just remember what he did. He made the world that Superman lived in believable. All right? That's what he did at the end of the day. If you can do that, you keep that core. Okay, you keep that balance right there. Then there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can do. There's a whole bunch of room for fighting and punching. That was Superman too, even though he didn't do a lot of punching, but you still had all that action with the fight of him fighting the Phantom Zone criminal. So it's not like it's absent. It has to be absent from the film. But then you look at the first film, and that first film is so well received that he doesn't even have a proper villain to punch. So you have to really look at that dynamic and understand what you can do with the Superman film, because you could not do that with the Batman film. You cannot go an entire Batman film and he's not driving in the car, punching, getting into some fight.
Are you saying Superman 1 or are you talking about Superman 2?
No,
that has to be the most important thing
when it comes to Superman. You broke up.
Oh. What was the last thing you heard?
Well, it was talking about the
Superman 2. We were a little confused. Did you say Superman 1 or Superman 2?
No, he just mentioned that there was fighting in Superman 2, but he was going back to.
Oh, okay, that's right.
What you was saying, I know there was some stuff after that, but you said Superman, the first Superman was just something that really resonated with people.
Yeah, the first Superman, but the Superman 2 was not.
Look how much Superman the movie is still looked upon as the gold standard, and there's no fighting in that film. He never gets into a fist fight with Lex Luthor. He doesn't get into a fist fight with anybody. He just flies around saving people for the most part. That's it. He just saves people, and it's dynamic in how he does it. But that's where it is. That's where the character is supposed to begin and end at the end of the day. It's no different with Batman, except Batman's locale is much smaller. It's Gotham. The best Batman movies are what? It's about him putting it all on the line to save the people of Gotham City. Those are the best films. You can have the other ones that are really enjoyable, but when they're in that pocket where he's putting it all on the line, not for Gotham City, but for the people of Gotham City, those films are the best one. You get that, and you should have no problem with it. But if your approach is going to be, oh, it's so tough and Superman's boring and I don't know what type of story, then here's what you do: you fire that guy. You do like Tom. This is great story with Tom Cruise? Where Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, mm-hmm. where he wants to do a stunt and he wants to run down the skyscraper. Mm-hmm. So he has a stunt coordinator. And the stunt coordinator is telling him, no, you can't do that. That's really dangerous. You could get hurt. So you know what he does? He fires that stunt coordinator and he gets somebody there who will help him to do it so he will not get hurt. That's what you need. Okay, you need somebody who's going to help you to execute the vision that you have. Not saying, look, this can't be done, but no, this is how we do it. So if I got somebody here like, well, Superman's a really tough nut to crack and this, that, and the other, no, I don't need you. I need somebody who's going to come over here, execute this properly. Okay, who's going to come into this and make this what it's supposed to be. That's what you have to have. And if you don't got that person, you keep sacking them until you get that person.
I don't think that's how the movie business works, because that's a pretty expensive proposition, bro.
That's what they did with That's what they did with that other Superman movie before they got to Superman Returns. They had, I don't know how many scripts they went through, how many directors they went through, and it didn't happen until they got Bryan Singer on there. All right, so that is part of the process. They'll put the money in and say, this is no good, shelve this. Okay, we can't do this film until we get a Spider in here. So it's not like they haven't done that type of stuff before. But this, before you even get there, just like do your what is it? Do your diligence. Who are we going to put on this? We need somebody who can execute this. We don't need somebody who's going to come over and like, Superman. Well, maybe we could do it like a Batman movie. Nah, don't even talk to that guy. Okay, forget about it. Don't even pay for the tea and out. That guy never gets behind the camera.
Well, I think one of the things is you look at it, and I guess all of the bits that are in the first movie is stuff that was in the script, but at the same time, they weren't explored in a way that the movie, when they got the writer and Dick Donner to take it and say, hey, this is Americana. Let's sort of explore that. And then you say, well, they did a lot of stuff there, but you're not stuck having to recreate. And that's what Man of Steel was trying to do. How do we beat this by getting more action and doing taking all the pieces and mixing them up and trying to have a different sort of story type of thing to it, rather than just saying, let's do a good Superman story and not turn him into, like how people perceive the X-Men, that, we're feared and hated by the world I'm sworn to protect. And that's not really the character. So that's not a premise to kind of start to show how we learn to trust. And that's one of, at some point you wouldn't even, until Superman starts telling you, wouldn't really know about his heritage until he told in the first movie Lois that, hey, I come from Krypton, blah, blah, blah. You're just saying, who's this guy flying around here saving us? So it's like one of those things that he decided to tell people. So, it's one of the things that you can do a good movie. There's a decent amount of characters. If you don't say his villains, there's some DC characters that you could use. I know they're scared of the dark side, but I don't think he would be a first thing. But there's characters you can look around and decide who would
Maniac.
But yeah, doing that stuff to sort of figure out how this would work, and you can and how this thing would play out. But look at some of the old stories to kind of figure out what would be a good sort of tale for Brainiac. Because most of the time, I know people like say don't look at the comic material, but that's the way. If you look at the Space Seed, you're saying this is the aspect. What if we took that and this presented, who knows how many? This is 50 years. What is it? 50, 40 years later. Their planet is ruins, and they've been scavengered. Like, you figure out something from there. What would be a good springboard for your story, rather than sit down and have people just hammering their head on the wall saying, "He's too powerful. I can't do it." And it's like bang, bang. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And it's like, this is what we got here. Pay us for what we did, instead of saying, well, this is something.
They can always do the ultimate magic versus Superman with like Constantine or Dr. Fate.
No, it's not about Superman making him weak so you can tell the story. It's about Superman saving the people. That's where they keep messing it up, especially if they go that route. If you think the only way that you can tell this story is by putting a whole bunch of kryptonite or red sun or magic, it's because, we got to, weaken this guy. So like, no, the struggle is not Superman struggling with the villain. Huh?
Dr. Fate and Constantine aren't villains. I'm just saying you can put
No, the struggle with Superman is not his struggle with the villain. It's getting the villain out of the way so you can save the people. That's from the very first movie. The struggle isn't with Lex Luthor. The struggle is, look, I got to get this kryptonite off me so I can save these people. If you get that, you got the movie. Good grief. Magic. Who cares? Who cares how you weaken this dude? It doesn't matter if you weaken him. The whole idea is I got to get this dude out of the way, because the real problem is how I'm going to help these people, not how I'm going to beat this guy up. So you can give people what they want with the whole, let me punch. But that's why Man of Steel didn't go anywhere, because all the punching was meaningless. It didn't help anybody. It didn't save anybody. You do that in a good film, you got it. You come over here and you focus on the same thing. Oh, he's too powerful. How do we weaken him? You're already playing from behind. You're already behind in the count. And Superman may not be a home run every time, but he has all the qualities, all the name recognition that you should always be getting on base with the dude. Always. He should always be in rotation. Oh, that's all I'm going to say about it.
All right.
So you agree with the Bendis. You agree that they should be doing a Superman movie.
Yes, that's not all I'm going to say about it. You keep Bendis and Snyder as far away from Superman. No, Snyder, might maybe let him do a treatment, but you keep Bendis as far away from Superman as you can. Let him go write Miles Morales or something. You stay away from Superman.
I don't understand the stuff, the issues, but that's okay.
You can do another show and I'll make you understand.
So, Petey, anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think trying some things, not keeping this stuff on the shelf. I don't know if they're gonna, trying to do more stuff with the Joker. I wasn't too happy with it, but they got the sales that they want on this thing to do more Joker, so it's kind of hard to do. Like, the thing of it is taking a villain and making him into the sort of protagonist of the story is kind of hard to do when you can't have him mass murder a bunch of people or cause disarray. Doing that in the next movie, what's your story? He just wins in the end, or he loses, or Batman comes in the end, the last 15 minutes and stops it. That's gonna kind of run your movie kind of dry. Whereas you see in this one, he gains more power at the end. So, like, he should be at full strength. That means he'd be pretty much unstoppable. And then how do you stop him? What is his challenge? That's the thing of any, like, what's the hero's journey? Where is that going to come from in him as a protagonist? That's going, basically his power is chaos, right? So that's the way they treat him in these movies. It's kind of hard to do, but you got the success. Just got to figure out what would be that to be. I wouldn't be your lead, but they got the money behind it to say, hey, it made X amount of dollars. Maybe we should be doing some more of that. When they should be saying, hey, we made X amount of dollars on Aquaman, maybe we should be pushing that out. But anyway, I think trying to do some more things, figure it out. Don't try to make the shared universe yet. Just figure out these characters first. Because it's kind of hard to do that when you trying to bring this big sort of thing together. Since the Avengers they were doing it even if parts of it didn't always work. So,
Yeah, I see your point.
So we close this one out.
Well, one last thing I just want to throw a vent to all this. One is the Ezra Miller situation. Now with the whole new leadership taking over in DC, the question is, they're going to continue with Ezra Miller as Flash?
Yes. Totally, yes. They don't care. They're sticking with him.
The movie's done.
They only need him. They only need him for that movie. So why are they going to throw him out now?
He has to sell the movie, right? He's the guy who's out there who has to go promote it.
Hey, he's going to be there. He's going to do this movie. And when it's done, it's done. That's it. What is it? You're my movie wife. Once we've done the last red carpet, we part ways.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess so here's the question I'm going to have. Is the Flash movie going to come out on time?
Yes.
But it doesn't have to. They can do reshoots, shoot some stuff without him.
Right. And I agree. And I guess they're doing that right now as we're talking, right? So, but I'm saying the movie's scheduled.
But this is another show. This is another show altogether. Okay.
This is part of the whole DC thing.
Well, I got to go anyway. So, hey, I'll let you guys rock.
All right.
All right. Cool, bro.
Later.
Peace.
Peace out. So the movie comes out June 2023. So there's more enough time to make any changes that are necessary to do to make, unless they move it once more, especially if the goal was to reset the whole DC universe, So, right, that's what Flashpoint was supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be a brand new reset, setting up whole.
Hello?
Yo, I'm here.
Sorry about that.
So,
about it. You think there's nothing they can do. They got the movie done. The movie's done, and they're not ready to just say, we're not going to cancel them yet. What can they do? And then he can have his act together by the time they get the movie out. The money's spent. They can't get rid of the money now.
Yeah, that's true.
You want them to get rid of them, don't you?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying that it's
okay. I get it.
I'm saying right now it's for a corporation it's a big hit, especially if they are planning to make a big bet on changing how things are going to go. So that's it. Right now you have just a DC. You have DC Super Pets coming out July, Black Adam October, you have Shazam December, and then you have Aquaman March 2023, and Flash 2023, and then Blue Beetle. So I mean, the question is, if it kicks off, it doesn't seem to be kicking off. It doesn't kick off anything else, then they can do whatever they need to do. Probably give them time to get better if needed, or not. But if it's a kick off, and the money's already spent, like you said.
I don't know if they're kicking off anything. I think they're doing a movie that's connected to the stuff that Zack Snyder did, but it's not going to kick off anything. I guess, right?
I think they were saying that they need to like change it up a little bit in terms of what's going to be happening in the universe now, in terms of this is what they haven't come out and said, but they basically said that now this is going to be the new launching point, where you have Batman coming in with what's his name again? The former Batman, the first Batman, he's coming into the role. You may have Ben Affleck, in that leaving, may or may not. You may have other characters coming in and connecting. Flashpoint, what happened with the Snyder may have been a whole new issue, and this comes on with a whole new world going forward. So we're not sure because we haven't seen the script or anything, but basically that's how people have been suggesting that this Flashpoint is supposed to change the whole DC world and probably start back with the whole either connected or a fresh start of how things. And it's also a way you can also bring in the Batman with the just came out with Reeves, possibly connect the Joker, where you have the multiple universes once again. So there's a lot that could be done, especially with Flashpoint, which changes the whole world in one way, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing where they could do that. They could also bring in some of the CW stuff, because this is a Flashpoint nutty sort of alternate universe. But the thing about it, obviously they already said they're going to have Thomas Wayne in there, but if they get Ben Affleck in there, that's going to be a big get. That'll be a big thing for all those people who are like, no solo movies out, and this is the greatest Batman. So we get some more light to that, and/or if we get some of that, the so-called trenchcoat Batman in there in that stage, and get some who's that guy? The other Joker. That would be another testament to see what's going on with these characters. Do you think they'll be going back to Joaquin Phoenix for the Joker post this part? Do you think they'll even try to bring this into that? Since
I wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy about it, and I know I'm going to get flack. So what? Don't particularly care for the Joker. Particularly don't care for the stuff. Now, if we did like the three Jokers, which I thought was a great story, and they make that into a animated show, or someone does something like that, possibly I'll be more.
But they do a movie of that, and the live action.
I may be more interested in it, but was not particularly fascinated with this particular movie. So if they want to bring it back, hey, you Joker fans, more power to you. Not my concern there. I wouldn't necessarily greenlight another one. I think that one was more than enough. More than enough. And I'm not for this whole crazy anarchy business. So I'm not for this, I'm in your head. Not into none of that stuff. So let's leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone. Okay? That's what I say. Let it die on the vine. Well, it did well. So, it's up to Joaquin. He's an auteur, so I guess he'll decide whether he could do another superhero movie.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, as he's a method actor. But the only problem is when he decided to become a rapper as a method actor. That was the saddest thing I've ever seen, and people bought into it.
I just don't know what's up with that dude. So hey, if there's anything else?
Wow, he did another yawn on the show. A bad one. Sorry, guys, not into it. We're closing it out now so Mars can get some sleep. Spinner rack.
Out.
Out.